intent of the Indian Act is to smother the true sovereign nations of what is called Canada. The idea of the Indian Act is to oppress the First Nations so the settler can live in comfort. To live in comfort of genocide, to live in comfort with exploitation, to live in comfort while my people are constantly insulted through this piece of legislation. The Indian Act is the foundation of a national disgrace, a dark colonial history that many settlers cannot recall. So as settlers, what do you think as I rip apart this piece of legislation, this foundation that allows you to flourish in my land? What do you think about your paternalistic government and its imperial tactics? What do you think about the Aboriginal female, a rape victim that can't get any justice through your courts because she's seen as just a drunken Indian who deserved it, who was asking for it? What do you think about the Aboriginal who has been racially profiled so many times in her young adult life? What do you think about the Aboriginal female who does not know where she belongs in her own land? She's not read enough. And she's definitely not white enough. The intent of the Indian Act is to smother the true sovereign nations in what is now called Canada. Because of the Indian Act, I don't know my spirituality. Because of the Indian Act, I don't know how to live off the land. And because of the Indian Act, I do not know my language. Because of the Indian Act, I have no idea who I am. So as settlers, how will you go about your government? How will you go about with my solidarity? How will you go about with your solidarity? What will you do to make a difference? How will you help mend the open wounds that have been opened for 520 years? Or will you just perpetuate the cycle by stating that we should get over it? I beg you to get over yourself. I beg you to understand your place as a settler. I beg you to fucking understand your place as a settler. Because I'm sick of this. My people are at a tipping point. I'm not here to give you a history lesson. That's your responsibility as a colonizer. Your history is short enough that you can understand a little bit about colonization. I'm here as an artist, an attempt to open up your eyes to the injustice that you call Canada. The intent of the Indian Act is to smother the true sovereign nations in what is called Canada. And what are you doing as Canadians about it?